Onshore-offshore dualism of credit money creation. The fourth aspect of a money view perspective on the IMS is the onshore-offshore dualism of credit money creation, which challenges common state-centric notion of money creation in a further way. The standard approach to the IMS assumes that money creation only takes place onshore, inside any monetary jurisdiction, while using that jurisdiction's unit of account. The IMS then refers to the regulation between monetary jurisdiction and the respective onshore money form. Figure 7. Conventional representation of the IMS conceptually. Okay, at the first column we have onshore dollar realm, and the right column we have other monetary area. On onshore dollar realm, we have USD denominated credit money issued in the US, while in other monetary areas, we have the non-USD denominated credit money issued outside the US. The onshore dollar realm also have Federal Reserve IOUs, such as Fed Deposit, Fed Currency, and US commercial banks IOUs as US Bank Deposit, while on the other monetary area, we have non-US Central Bank IOUs, non-USD CB Central Bank Deposit, non-USD Currency, and also non-US Commercial Bank IOU and non-USD Bank Deposit. Now, the connection between these two columns is exchange rate choice, degree of capital mobility, textbooks international monetary system, and on the left column, say textbook domestic monetary system. A good example of this rationale of pure onshore money creation is to be found in the analytical concept the impossible trinity. Developed on the basis of Mundell and Fleming, it has been popularized by scholars such as Cohen, as well as Brose and Frieden. The concept suggests that in any particular setup of the IMS, only two of the following three policy goals can be realized: fixed exchange rate, free capital movement, and autonomous domestic monetary policy. Figure 8 portrays this structural dilemma and sketches how historical formation of the IMS, the classical gold standard, the Bretton Woods system, as well as generalized floating, are typically said to be located within this structure. In contrast, this paper argues that it is not a logical necessity that all money is issued inside a given monetary jurisdiction. What is required in the first place to issue a public or private credit money form is the unit of account, as the fictional idea to denominate debt. It is true that as a result of historical process, the units of account we have today are connected to state structures: the US dollar, the British pound, the Chinese renminbi, and also the euro, if we accept to treat the European Union as a state in this regard. However, the swap of IOUs which is required for actually creating this credit money form does not have to occur onshore. Offshore dollar creation and the emergence of post-2008 international monetary system. Sorry, this is actually the title. Okay. Creating this money form does not have to occur onshore, inside that monetary jurisdiction. If we follow the logic of the Westphalian monetary system according to which each country only issues and uses its own currency, we normalize this view of onshore money creation. Yet, it is well possible to issue credit money offshore, simply by swapping IOUs denominated in a monetary jurisdiction unit of account, while the public or private issuing institution is located outside of that monetary jurisdiction. Outside here may mean geographically or, even more importantly, legally. Institutions legally operating offshore are able to create money without any restriction or limitation imposed by the regulation of the monetary jurisdiction, which is particularly attractive for profit-maximizing private financial institutions in economic boom times. The downside, of course, is that once the bullish times are over, the credit money created is not protected by the established crisis protection framework, notably the liquidity backstops of the central bank discount window and the solvency backstop provided by the deposit insurance. Okay, this is a figure 8, international monetary system and the impossible trinity, in which they say that you can only have two. The three corner is free international movement of capital, fixed exchange rate, and autonomous monetary policy. As the free international movement of capital and fixed exchange rate, we have classical gold standard there that choose two, fixed exchange rate and free international movement of capital. Meanwhile, for generalized floating, we choose autonomous monetary policy over fixed exchange rate. So we have autonomous monetary policy and also free international movement of capital. Yeah, that one for generalized floating. And for the Bretton Woods system, we have fixed exchange rate and autonomous monetary policy, but not free international movement of capital. Interesting. Empirically, significant offshore credit money creation occurs from the major units account. This typically refers to form of wholesale money issued through the lending that takes place in between financial institutions, and not so much to retail credit money form that actually reach the real economy. Due to the US position at the apex of the international hierarchy of money, the US dollar is by far the most important unit of account used to create credit money offshore. Figure 9 shows the conceptual idea of the IMS as a hierarchy of various monetary jurisdictions with the US in its center, connected by the offshore dollar realm, in which private and public institutions issue dollar-denominated international credit money. So this is figure 9. We have, like before actually, onshore dollar realm and other monetary areas, but right now in the middle, not empty, we also have offshore dollar realm, which is USD denominated credit money issued outside the US. This is money view representation of IMS.